Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you, as usual, whenever and wherever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers program from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. The topic of the teaching of today is the continuation of what we discussed last week about the magnetic field, magnetic rays within the plasma, where up to now we considered the brain of the man in one section is responsible for emotions, and one section responsible for decision making, some in one section regarding the physicality, and the rest of it. Which section of the brain creates a movement in a finger, and which part of the brain is responsible for moving the heart and the rest of it. And which part of the system of the body of the man is responsible to create continuous regeneration of cells. In a way, as is, all these things exist within the plasma. Within the plasma, which is the fundamental plasma, or what you call the soul of the man, or whatever you want to call it, is the same characteristic. When, for example, the rays and the fields which are responsible for dynamism, for positioning certain plasmas within the structure of the what we call fundamental plasma, motion of, direction of motion of, what to absorb, what to reject, which fields to take from the environment, in the body of the man is converted into what we call the part of the brain which is responsible for moving hands, the part of the brain which is responsible for feeding you, the part of the brain which is responsible to get rid of what it doesn't need in every shape or formation, part of the brain which is for emotion of laughter. So when the fields of the emotion of laughter, let's say, in the plasma as the direction of the soul of the man, comes to become to materialistic side, to find itself in a matter state, conformation of existence, does not matter if it's the brain of the man, or is a jelly type, or is a gaseous structure, at the end of it, converts that line as the emotion of, let's say, happiness, to a structure that can represent, can absorb, can identify, and can confirm happiness in the physical dimension. So that ray, which is strength of the happiness in the plasma of the structure of the soul of the man, when it comes in conversion into the brain of the man, to change into physicality to show the happiness of the man, converts to sound of laughter, change of facial structure, tears and crying, maybe rolling on the ground from laughter and joy. Then we understand that does not matter where you go. These characteristics as a joy, it'll be carried, and in that position of transmutation when you arrive, manifests itself as part of the structure of the control. So we understand that within the plasma, within the structure of the fundamental plasma, where combination of the fields and rays make that plasma, they have the same characteristic structure as what we see in the body of the man, in the brain of the man. So the body of the man in conversion knows where to go. You see in your dreams, or when you transmute, but not convert to change of physicality, your grandma, she tells you a joke. She gives you food with the aroma and odor which you liked. Remember her cooking for you? Then this, when it comes through the dimension of the plasma fields and converts into the matter state, you feel, you taste, and say, oh, I had a dream of the grandma last night, and I had this soup and that taste and that odor. In fact, you use the conversion of the rays into the dimension of physicality. For this reason, man will find out that all plasmas have the same strength. Does not matter If in the strength of your physical condition, it becomes laughter, but tickling, giggling, shouting, and crying from joy, and another creature from another part of the universe will feel the same joy through the same field of strength. It means the same. Then we understand how we do not need a physical matter to exist, to enjoy the existence in the universe, because whatever we see as the attributes of the physicality we enjoy, the sight, the sound, the smell, everything else, is within the structure of the plasma. And if this planetary system, this condition of the earth, would have allowed and had creation and the condition of the other field strengthens, we would have known other emotions, other senses, because there are more into emotions and senses and condition of understanding than what is available to the man today on this planet. This planet needs this to satisfy the life conversion. On another planet, there are no cows to eat. There is no grass to lie on. There is no sunrise and sunset that you can sit on the beach because there's no water. And then, but there are other joys. You cannot create this on another planet. But on that planet, there are other joys with a different strength that we do not know on this planet because we don't have the conditions of it. We don't have the feeling strength of it, but it's embedded, it's active within the soul of the plasma of that man, the fundamental plasma. The beauty of it is, does not matter how many times you create a smaller or different or amalgamation of plasma, you come to the same. If this is hard for you to understand, it's very easy for you to test. Because it's more or less on a magnetic field strength. It's not on something else. Get a piece of magnet and cut it into pieces. The field strength does not change. Each piece has the behavior of the same. You cut it in two halves, 1/3 and 2/3, in 10 pieces of equal amount, in 10 pieces of half and 10 pieces of double, the field strength interaction is always the same. In matter state condition as the weight, you get attracted because you're lighter, but the field strength of the magnet does not change. And if we understand this, we understand the original plasma, the fields, which now creates the soul of the man, is another piece of magnet, which is cut from the bigger piece of magnet, which is the soul of the creator. It has the potential, it has all the fields within it to be, to create, to have interaction as the field of the creator. And once the scientist, once the man understands this, man has become the true citizens of the universe. I've made man in the image of myself because the soul of the man is part of me, carries all the information and all the knowledge. It's the man who has decided which part he wants to take to or for his benefit. Then you understand what it means in true essence, that each soul does not matter of infant, does not matter of this road sweeper, a king, a president, a scientist, in the size of the soul, all have all the attributes the same. Is which one we develop more, which one we encourage more. We encourage the abusive, we encourage to be ruthless and to be as abusive as we are, and we call ourselves a king, a leader, because a just king cannot exist if he's just and correct, unless he chooses the path that in every condition and situation meets the attributes of the creator. If you want to be that, to show the strength of the knowledge, you tap in and you become a scientist and the other part. But you still have the potential. You still have the what we call a structure to become abusive and become a king. But that's what you convert in the matter state, in the physical life. But the soul does not change. You just tap into that part. That is strength that you think you can. And you're encouraged and monitored to be encouraged. Then we understand. All of us. This is what I said years and years ago. When you look from outside, no one knows if this is a soul of the sweeper, or a king, or a farmer, or a scientist. Because in essence, it's the same. In what you take, the way you took from the fields to create the part of the brain, which became the physical manifestation and control of your arms, your legs, physical movement, man encourages that part of the fields which is within it to become. And then when he mixes it in the different way with the physical condition, you get the behavior of abusive. You get different kind of behaviors, because the behavior does not come from emotion. It comes from interaction of the physical dimension and the field interaction within the structure of the soul of the man. It comes as perfection. Then man uses the physical dimension how to abuse this with others. How to use to abuse the others. Then we understand. And it's become important for us to move to the next step, to recognize these field strengths within the structure of the plasma, the soul of the man, that the physicality has no dimension in it. You are in a space as a plasma, you come across another plasma. This plasma needs, it's like has got a SOS on it. I need this field to survive. It's the field of strength which emanates, which is creates for need. And you are the other plasma, you don't have physical dimension and shape. But as a fields, you feel this I have, I don't need, or I have too much of as a higher strength that you give. Then you understand how it works. In the scientific world, in the coming time, the way partially we have developed the technologies, we can measure these kind of emotions and see which part and where in the brain of the man operates in. In the coming time, we'll measure the field strength of the soul, which creates and carries these. And with these measurements, it's not anymore by meters, it's the essence of the emotion, how you feel, and how that feeling is. Can you communicate with the system? Can you communicate with the person? Can you read the option? And then you test yourself. In the past few days, something very strange happened, but not as strange as normal, that I just keep on testing. I was walking to ATM machine outside the building. As I was going into the building to go to the machine, I knew, I had a sense that the machine is going to take my card. I said, but I've got to try it. I know it's going to happen. I want to know that the soul of this structure tells me. I walked in, I put the card in, blip, I had the card dropping in a box. And I said, I knew. It means I felt the emotion of even the machine compared to a human soul. I said this to somebody who was with me. I said, I knew. They said, why do you keep on doing this? You knew, why did you? I said, it's just I wanted to see, I can feel the emotion, the essence of a machine, a mechanical system, which everybody says no soul. But I was aware of it. I went to another machine. The same thing happened before I go. I said, I knew this was going to happen again. And it happened again. Because we do not need the emotion, the soul of living things. We have to understand the soul of the structure of anything. This is why in the teaching of last week, I referred even the cup we produce in a million, it still has that soul. These ATM machines are produced in hundreds of thousands nowadays. It wasn't something special. This is where we have to understand that we open the line of communications with the structure, the physicality, and we understand this. I referred to this years ago when I went in front of a horse and I knew the horse. I said to the horse, I know you're here to take my life, but not this time. Not ready for it yet. And I know I fell off the horse. And everyone says, when you're stupid, you knew it. Why did you get on the horse? I just wanted to prove that I know better than the horse. My soul has a mission, has a way to live to complete. In 2010-11 was a horse. A few days ago was a what we call computerized electronic system, ATM machine. And this is how we should become. This is why people tell me, why do you let people do this? Because I say, I know they have to show their own weaknesses. They have to show their own problem, not me. Recognition of the emotion, irrespective of the time, place, position, and entity, has to become part of the nature of the man. And don't forget, as you feel the emotion, they feel yours. It's not a one-way traffic. There is no superiority. It's just knowing to understand the parity in the whole structure. Then we move to the next step. In understanding, in transmutation, I want to go, this is my emotion, I want to be in a warm place, I want to be at this position, I want to be near to the love of my child. I'm in London, he's in another part of the world. I move, I feel, I touch. I don't need to physically manifest myself to the child. But at points you decide, I have to be there out till they decide they want to be in. It's the same as 20 years. You never had a dream of the mother who died 20 years ago, but you do today because you create that field. You touch the strength field that the mother field has been. Up to now, you've been messing around with everything else except the true fields which connects to the mother. You need this, as I said, in a space to know this field has no arms, no legs, but I know, I feel its existence. Is it going to take from me or is it going to give to me? What have I created to give and what indication I show that I want to take because this is what I need? In the scientific world of today, we call it magna position. Why do you get a position in a certain position? Because you give enough to what the community needs from you, and you take what you need from the community of the fields which are your within, and that gives you the balance. And once man understands this, man comes to the next step of knowledge and technology, which means, how do I move this plasma? Up to today, no scientist has ever explained how the earth rotates scientifically. Why, in the world of the man, we create motors to create rotation, where we don't need to. Is there a motor rotating the earth? Is there a motor rotating the sun? Is there a motor rotating the whole galaxies? Is there a motor rotating the universe? Man has not understood the mechanism of the motion in the existence of the creation. As I said many times to knowledge seekers working, so as long as you're happy with the motor, I give you a motor. And we get channeling to make as many as you like and get selling. But doesn't answer if any of you worked with these motors, you understand at certain strength the motor stops and the ball still goes if the motor friction doesn't stop it. There's a limitation of the fields and the mechanical strength, because that's a matter state. In the plasma state, like the sun, you don't need a motor. How does the creation of the motion, in essence, through condition of the plasma is created? Why do we need huge amount of magnets to create a speed of the plasma in CERN to accelerate it to neutron stars? Fields across the universe go millions of times faster, but we don't see any motors because man has not understood the essence, the field strength within the plasma, which creates that motion, which is the motion, a forward motion, a rotational motion. Why do all planetary systems rotate? And if we say we are made in the image of man, in the image of creator, in the image of a dog or a whatever, or a star, does the creator rotate the same? Is the soul of the creator a Sufi? And then we have to understand how. What is the cause of the rotation, and what rotation and what the speed in which angle and what the strength gives you certain directional motion and emotion in a given time, place, and position. What is the mass and what is the weight? The mass, which is the connection of the soul of the man with the creator, never changes. The weight is the manifestation of that plasma on earth in the shape of a man, in the water in the shape of a fish, on a mountain in the shape of whatever, and in another planet, another. So manifestation of physicality is the same as the weight of the man, where in essence the soul, the mass, never changes, because it's that magnet which is the same, cut from a piece of the soul of the creator, and never changes in strength, attributes, and beauty. Now, our scientists have to find out how to create that rotation. As I said, we go back to the very first teachings 10 years ago. Has anyone seen a rocket propulsion? Has anyone seen wings? Has anyone seen turbine engines on Earth? I think we have moved far enough to take a picture of it. None. But how does it rotate 1,600 kilometers an hour? Man has not found this, because if man would have found this principle, man would have made a perpetual system to produce energy as you do with the dams and wind and everything else to run the turbine. If man one day understand the power of the plasma, rotation of the plasma, and dimension and direction of the plasma, man will create such a plasma turbines that creates billions of kilowatts. You don't need to stick a matchbox in the middle of the sea and put a fan on top of it and call it whatever. Or to create a black patch on the ground and call it the solar cell. We will show this technology in Iran. In a conference in Iran, we'll show for the first time the motion created perpetually in the universe, which leads to the motion, and depending on how you angle it, creates lift, it creates weightlessness according to the position and time, and it creates as much energy as possible. Don't forget, the first system ever registered by the company in Belgium with the support of the Keshe Foundation at that time in 2000 and whatever, it says gravitational and power system. The power sits within the gravity, within the field. And that field creates its emotion and motion. In the coming time, in the system which is getting developed by the Keshe Foundation, we have no control system but by the emotion. You want to move a craft, you think about moving it, you interact with the soul of the system, and system moves. Reduces weight, increases weight. It plays the game of the soul, it plays the game of emotion. And this is what, as knowledge seekers, you have to understand. Now you understand when I tell you the time of playing with ganses and all that is finished. We still play with it because it's nice. But does it stand? Does it, in any shape or form, brings us to the point that we have not understood the principle of the rotation and life in the universe, which replicates the life of the Creator. Now we have managed, we have gained knowledge to bring that position of attracting the fields of the Creator to create within the attraction of it the soul of the entity. This is one of the most advanced technologies the man can never and could never imagine. And now it's within the grasp of the man. We bring all fields of the creation to create the soul of that system, which is the replication of the soul of the Creator. Otherwise, cannot exist. Otherwise, it doesn't have the strength in combination to exist in this environment, which is controlled, given, looked after by the soul of the Creator. Then we understand how much the technology has moved. The technology of understanding the technique of the universal motion, technology of the creation, technology of the science that man today has a problem to understand. And because he doesn't understand, he's created prophets and all the prophecies that those who call themselves the whatever of the prophets are there to abuse. Technological advance, the technological advancements for the man today, if man understands, has reached a point to understand how to get in touch, to be at the strength of the soul of the Creator, that one feels is beauty within. And you don't need to die to do. There is no day of judgment. It's the day of the maturity of understanding the process, the technology of the creation. And that technology today is in the hand of the man and within the structure of the Keshe Foundation. How our knowledge seekers understand is how they will transfer this back to governments and within the structure of the world peace, within the grasp of the man. If we would have shown this technology 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, man would have said, oh, is a magician, is this, is that. Now that we have taught, we've shown you the strength of the field of the matter state in cancers and the rest, now you understand how easy it is to learn the rest. But to release the technology, to learn the rest, needs is the cornerstone of its, what I call deliverance, completion, is the world leaders a grip to peace. No more war. Because if this technology falls in the hand of the wrong man, there shall be no life for humanity and no life on this planet and the rest of it in the universe. Because man is too greedy and he wants everything. As I said, even he makes a king to go on a pink trousers and God knows what to come to beg for it. As we saw with the King of Belgium in 2013 and 12 in Belgium. And does every crooked things to get the hands on it. Because they knew They understood what is the power of this technology. It's the technology of the creation, not Keshe Foundation. We are teachers and not messengers. And once you understand, you can replicate it. It does not need systems. It needs the maturity of understanding the process of creation. And every man, every animal has the capability to understand it. It does not matter from this planet or anywhere else. Now you understand how the essence of the conformation comes to, how the energies of the creator transfers to, and how the word I made man in the image of myself converts the energy of the creator to manifestation of the man in time and position, depending on the environmental condition. In the environment of the womb of a black woman in Africa, the child becomes black. In the condition of the womb of the mother in Australia becomes another, and in the north with Swedish becomes blonde. But the structure of the physicality within it is all the same. A woman in Sweden does not create a child with no kidneys. It's just, as they say, how long you keep it in the oven depends how color and how much it gets cooked. And what strength you put on it. Short term, high energy, you burn the color, you have it roasted. You keep it low, it's the same, it's no difference. Why we turn black and white? But in essence, we all have the same structure. As I said, in different positions and conditions, we manifest ourselves different, but in essence, it's the same. The same as the child in the womb of the mother in Africa, and the same the one in Sweden. One is black and one is blonde, because the blonde one with the white skin needs that to survive. It's a different, it's on the moon, it's another universe. And the one in the black, it needs that because in Africa, it needs it to survive. We look, but we don't understand. But in essence, we see the transmutation. We see the conversion. We see the evolution, but we never understood. Is there any difference in the physical structure of the womb of a woman in Sweden than a woman in Africa? Except the field strength which they produce according to the environment they live. And according to the way it has been structured to do. So is there any difference in the life if you were on Earth or another creature in another position and dimension? It's just the different fields, different womb of the fields of the creation of the planetary system. And if our scientists understand this, and if our scientists create a condition of the woman in Sweden can give birth to a black child, as we've seen can happen, because there is ancestral thing, and a blonde blue eyes in Africa in a womb of a black woman. Because that tiny single egg of the partner came from the field, the strength of the white man. Created a different field of strength. If that little tiny sperm has the strength to change the field strength of the woman in Africa and create a blonde child, and a white woman in Sweden to create a black child because in this ancestral line, field strength was a black, then you understand man has not even understood the process of the creation and how the fields interact. And we call it on chromosomes, genes, and the rest of it. You wear the genes on your leg, not on your brain. Not an understanding of the technology of the creation. Soon we will show this in a coming time as we progress rapidly for the confirmation and delivery of the technologies. Now that we have engaged in a what we call in the larger scales of distribution of the knowledge and technology, mankind will leap and hype in such a speed in the coming months and years that will not recognize what man has achieved in past thousands of years. And I wonder if they marvel how stupid we've been to create such a mayhem. Try to understand a few pieces of the teaching of today, and if you unravel it, you have unraveled the secrets of the creation and the freedom of your soul and for everlasting life. Then you can test if you can become that black child in a womb of what we call Swedish woman, and a white child in a womb of woman, without the egg, without the sperm, by transfer of the soul of the energy, by transfer the way we create matters, you create the fields in the structure. And if you understand this, then you understand how the children of Mitra shall be born. As they are independent of the emotion of the physicality of belonging, but they are aware and control and understand the process of the field instruction of the universe and universe and the creator. If man knew in what and such a glorious day he lives today on this planet, with the presence of the children of Mitra, man will understand the time of peace has come for his physical condition. I wonder how many of you and your offsprings gain the knowledge to create children of the soul, and then how those children shall be. What features were there? What behavior were there? How would you recognize your child is a child of the soul in the womb of the mother, without and before the birth? The technology of the creation is the right of every living things in the universe, and is not the exclusivity of man. Unless man is so arrogant that it is himself as exclusivity of the creator, which means he has become further from it than closer to it. If you understood the principle of the conversion from the field strength, ray strength, to physical matter condition strength, then you have understood the transmutation, the process of transmission by the field strength and conversion to the matter state by the physical matter manifestation. Teaching of today is short, but so deep that I hope it'll take you as knowledge seekers and the rest of the men for thousands of years to unravel. Hundreds of years is not enough, because it's so deep. If you understood, and then you understand it in the essence of its truth, you have found a way to path to your creator, even today. We go for a break and we come back, and we can ask any question and discuss to understand more about the depth of the knowledge today has been shared with you.